This is Robert Murdlacci, the Mindshare Learning Report, Canada's Learning and Technology e-magazine, and welcome to This Week in Canadian Edtech, a very special edition. I'm honored to have join me for a Mindshare Learning moment, Janet Omstead, who is a play expert and health coach. She has a book on play, and it's right to the right of her, and which we gave as a gift to our speakers at our EdTech Leadership Summit this past fall. Thank you for joining me, Janet, this afternoon on March break at that. Now, our kids are a little beyond that, but it still holds a special place in our heart, doesn't it?
It's still, those patterns of time still hold very true. I was even talking to my 26-year-old daughter today. I said, "Oh, it's March break." She goes, "Oh, yeah." So it's part of us, right? It's normal.
Absolutely. And speaking of March break, there was no break for our hockey. One of my skates this week was canceled due to a March break camp for kids. And this conversation is really not about technology today. It's really about an opportunity to recharge and focus on your well-being. And I was up at 7 a.m. focused on my well-being, playing hockey.
Mr. Hockey.
And so, play is a big part of my life. You're the expert. Parents are home, kids are home. The easiest path, the least resistance, is hanging out around the house on the TV, on a computer, on games. Not a recipe for well-being and success from a health perspective.
True. Canadians actually sit for up to 10 hours a day. And that's kind of an alarming time frame.
I think I'm going to stand now, Janet.
Yes, please stand up.
Okay, I'm standing.
Okay. All right.
How's that?
That's good. See? Very simple things.
But I'm going to sit back down because my camera elevation's not quite right.
That's okay.
But I do stand a lot. But it's a good point, right?
Yeah. I mean, we sit up to 10 hours a day. And that's alarming because I don't think people are really aware of how much they're sitting. And that's part of, the play paradigm that I help people with is starting with awareness. And if 90% of Canadians as well aren't getting enough exercise, which is 20 minutes a day to keep healthy, there are simple solutions. And March break is a great way to start to implement some of them in your own life and model them for your children or your grandchildren or whoever's, in your home helping out right now.
I love the notion of modeling because for our own kids, I think we modeled, and the fact that I'm still active, and I don't have to ask my kids to get active; they just do it on their own, and I think that's absolutely critical to get that embedded in their DNA, if you will.
Sure. It's actually interesting you bring that up because if you don't have a good role model that way, or if you haven't had a good role model that way, everybody tapped into when they were a kid, things they'd like to do. And no one ever called it exercise. That's why we call it play. But I also had a great role model, but I also work with clients that have never had that, or they were told that that's, not good enough, or that isn't the right type of exercise to help you. But I think the really key piece here is just like when you stood up, is that all movement matters, Robert, all of it. We've kind of been, it's been suggested over a long period of time that going to the gym is the only movement that really matters. And that's not true. All movement matters all day, and being aware of how much, like standing up, or it all comes down to that, and keeping things simple, fun, and repeatable. And you're more likely to move more than you think.
And what I admire about your philosophy is, in your book of play,
Thank you.
When you are at play, like, do I really want to get up at 7 a.m. or no, 5 a.m. to play a 7 a.m. game, or play at 9 o'clock at night sometimes, or whatever the time is? But when you belong to a team and you're playing, you feel more obligated and committed as opposed to a gym membership.
Because sometimes, yeah. For sure.
Right?
I would completely agree that having someone waiting for you is an accountability piece that not everybody has access to, but having a team, for sure, that's really helpful.
Right.
And you don't show up, they're like, "Robert, where have you been?" What happened?
Exactly.
We missed you,
So
man.
you feel that and some days you don't feel like it, but or how about something we have in common? Dogs. So you have a dog,
Yes.
and
Right?
our puppy Romeo, and for the benefit of those who haven't seen him, I'm going to pop him up on the
Oh, he's
screen,
so cute.
and for the record, it is my daughter's dog, so I'm not allowed. So that's the guy right there.
Come
But
on.
this guy has changed our family dynamic, and every day, pretty much, we no, we definitely walk him more than once a day, and it's a family thing oftentimes. So get a pet is an option because you play a lot more. And I run around the backyard with this dude, wanting me to chase him, and it's so
Yeah,
and you're not even realizing. Sometimes you don't even realize you're getting the fitness. It's not like I'm going to do fitness. It's just like
play.
teachers using tech, right?
Sure.
We are using the tools to enable us to do what we need to do at this moment in time. And that's really it, and it becomes transparent, right? It becomes
Hmm.
baked in. So yeah, how does that sound?
Well, just, 10 minutes or less. Like, even if you had, the World Health Organization says,
Yeah,
the minimum amount to keep healthy is 20 minutes. And if you're aware of how much you're moving and you're not getting those 20 minutes, it doesn't all have to be done at once. You can go play with your dog for 5 minutes, or you can
right,
go out on the street and, gosh, get creative with your kids. I actually suggest to clients to understand breaking up those 20 minutes into 5-minute chunks throughout the day.
right,
Dance for 5 minutes, or go outside and have a little scavenger hunt, or let your kids be part of the solution. Don't
right.
Everybody's got these rules, and rules matter for some things, but
Sure.
why not just think outside the box and walk out your front door that you have sidewalk cracks to jump in, or the weather isn't great right now, but maybe you could play hide and seek close in a
Right.
park, or behind some trees. Like, all of that is cumulative movement, all of it,
Absolutely.
and it
And
all adds up, and that is just so important. It's so important.
and and hiking, and there's so many great
Hiking.
trails, right? There's so many
Yeah.
great trails. If you go
Hmm.
further north, there's still snow if you want to snowshoe or ski. I mean, there's so many things. And let's talk about the benefits of well-being and the outdoors, because it's been a crisis, as we know, in education and families across Canada and beyond. So talk to me about the benefits that you've seen through your research, and there's more of a reason to just do it for your physical health, but
Oh,
it's
for
also your
sure.
mental health.
Yeah, I like to say that the outside hasn't been canceled. At the beginning of the pandemic, it was feared that we didn't know how the virus was changing and how things were coming fast at us. The news was changing, but as time went on, it became very apparent that the outdoors isn't canceled, and the benefits for being outside or moving your body is mental and physical. It boosts your self-esteem. It reduces anxiety, and it reduces stress, because we're all kind of stressed out. And so, what a better way to marry the benefits of the physical and mental health with the great outdoors. I always like to say the world can be your playground, Robert. You just have to get creative. And sometimes,
Brilliant.
people will say to me, "Where do I start? How do I do that?" Well, what did you like to do as a kid? Start there and teach your
Hmm.
kids what you like to do as a kid. Nothing's off the table. Nothing.
So thank you for that. I met a medical doctor from New York City at the hotel I was at in Florida before I flew back, and he was a former New York Knicks doctor, and we were chatting away, and they were doing some fun activity with the kids that afternoon, and he said to me, he says, your health is your wealth. I know
Oh,
a lot of the players, I know a lot of people with a lot of money, but if you're not healthy, you can enjoy it. So your health, I've never heard that expression, but I've used it a number of times because it absolutely is 100% true. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you're not healthy, you're not going to enjoy it. So there's every opportunity for you to change the direction of
yeah,
where you're going.
exactly. And the habit-based approach is really sustainable, and that's a really key piece, right? You're not jumping into going for a run for half an hour and making it torturous. You're finding a way to, add your habits. I actually have like take five. I like to use this
Yeah.
with people, like 5 concrete steps. Teachers, parents, adults can all try and use towards tapping into their health as wealth, which is the starting with something you like, which I already said. Set a timer or some sort of trigger that gets
Right.
you, like it is a hard stop. When the timer goes off, put down whatever you're doing. Whoever's taking turns in your house, or even if you live alone, that's okay. Put it down and pick something. Even if 5 minutes seems like too much, can you do a minute? Could you do 30 seconds? And build
Right.
from there. And then in another hour, set another timer. Just start adding it. Doesn't have to be this great big thing. And don't set the bar so high that you have an excuse not to, right?
Right.
Like I said, running for 30 minutes is not available to everybody. So
I
don't
and
start
and
there. Make it simple.
and I've never loved running, but I love rollerblading. It's more play for me, and that's what I
Sure.
do during the off season. So on the weekend, my wife and I did yoga, and we used to have yoga here in our workspace, and we're going to
Mm-hmm.
bring that back as things open up again. So and mixing it up
Yeah.
and getting that full body workout. I mean, yoga, I can't say enough about it. It helps my golf game. It helps my hockey because of the
Yeah.
core strength. So,
Yeah.
but again, I think the March break, the spring break, if you want to call it, that's what they call it out west more. March break seems to be an Ontario centric thing.
True. True.
This is the opportunity to make it a game changer for you and take care of yourself. I just see so many teachers and leaders that are so giving and they're selfless, but at the end of the day, you're going to be less effective and less happy if you don't spend that critical amount of time, as you say, 20 minutes a day, carve out.
Self-care is healthcare. It really is.
Oh,
Taking care of
I've
yourself.
never heard that. That's new to me.
I
That's
just made that up,
Janet.
actually. Let's write that down.
You
I just
should
made that
write
up.
it down, and maybe
Coin
there's
that phrase.
another book in the making. I'm going to wish
Well,
upon you another book.
well, thank you. The other piece, Robert, that I like to share is, stack the habit of play onto something you already do. So say you're cooking in the kitchen, or say you're taking out the garbage. Okay, we're
Yeah,
getting outside. This is the whole idea here, right? Let's go outside
get
and play.
outdoors.
You take out the garbage. As you are taking out the garbage, why don't you put the garbage to the curb and then do walking lunges back to your door, or do some jumping jacks do 10 jumping jacks. Just add it when you're already doing something. If you stack it onto something you're already doing,
Right.
it makes the chore less loathsome, and it adds a little, boost to your mental health. Because we did talk about, mental health, physical health, but exercise or play is truly the magic pill that everybody, if it was in a pill form, people would take it. So it,
That's well
lowers your
said. I
blood
mean,
pressure, and it helps your heart, and it helps your blood flow, and it helps your mood, and it boosts your energy. And there's it's just, there's so much benefit
I
when,
can vouch for that. I'm feeling
yeah,
very relaxed right now after my rigorous hockey game this morning because it's intense. I
for
play in an
sure.
open league with guys in their 20s and I'm 60. So it
I love it.
really pulls you along. And that's what I like about, you know, not being in being in an open league and challenging yourself. It's that challenge that
Mm-hmm.
keeps you really in the game and
Mm-hmm.
and loving play.
Mm-hmm. Well, people that play together stay together, Robert. There's another one for you.
I've heard that one at least.
Okay. The other one I came up with was really good, though.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. So, any final thoughts to share as we get set to get out? I'm going to go walk the mall. Like the mall
Yeah.
walking. If you're tentative about walking outdoors, I have mall walkers wave at me all day long, and so that's another good option. You can find some safe indoor areas to if you want to walk.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key you hit on about being part of a team or going to a mall and walking is the social piece.
Hmm.
Social ability when you're moving together you can cover a lot and learn a lot about a
Yeah.
person when you're hanging out together in play, whether
Well,
it's at the
here
mall or at the hockey rink
exactly.
or
And here's
wherever.
another tip I've heard some leaders say that if I'm looking to hire someone seriously in a big role, that you take them golfing and watch the way they behave. Or it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be, or it could be another sport or tennis or what have you.
What about a
Because
walking interview?
a walking interview, the
As long as you know
problem
where you're
is,
going and don't get lost,
the
right?
problem
There's
is
that.
I walk very fast. so,
Well, then you can't
so
hire them
you know
because they
what?
can't keep
So
up.
so they would be eliminated if they couldn't keep up. That would
Well,
be. I'm very well. That's it's part of the expectation is you have to have, and that's a good segue to advice on careers too. I mean, it impacts what your health is your wealth, and it impacts your career trajectory because there are leaders I know that look at the interests, and if you don't have active interests
hmm,
that are involving play and sport,
it's
because it says
certainly a part of a value system that
right, it
that
says
leaders do embrace for
that
sure.
look at leadership and team and that sort of thing. So there's a kind of a value added piece to the
Bonus.
conversation
Yeah.
today.
It's always good to throw more. I love it.
But
Take with it what you will, for sure. I just want to leave with people, if you're cautious about taking up something new, make sure you're healthy and or ask your doctor if it's something you can approach. But
good point.
nothing is impossible. The only limit we have is our own limits. And when you see the world as your playground, you'll find that getting those 20 minutes a day is not that difficult. Break it up and have fun. Have fun. It's important.
Janet Omstead, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for this.
So great to chat with you, Robert. Have a great day.
That was that
Happy
was
March break.
Janet Omstead. Thank you, author and play expert and health coach. My name is Robert Martlanchi, the Mindshare Learning Report. Be sure to check out www.mindshare Learning to get your latest issue. Until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and have a wonderful March break.